Show.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the 580 Show, episode 182. I'm joined by a special guest, producer of the 580 Show, Dante Petrella. What's up, buddy?
What's up, brother?
So let's, um, I guess we'll talk about Battle of the Bridge a little bit. I talked about my thoughts quickly last week. I didn't really have a voice, and I know we were all so tired. So I wanted to highlight some of the good, bad, and the ugly.
Mhm.
And then also USS Nationals was today. I think that's the big thing in amateur strongman. Pretty much every year that and SC Nats, USS Nationals is the biggest contest, I think, in the world, to be honest, as far as volume.
Yeah.
So, just want to talk about that too a little bit. Just want to start off by saying I appreciate all the feedback we've been getting on the pod recently. I just had a couple really nice messages this week and I really appreciate it. I think one thing that, not to compliment us too much, but one thing that we do that people like is talk about the amateur strongman team, because I think
Mhm.
podcasts tend to talk about Brian Shaw and Bobby Thompson and top level guys, and that's great. And we do talk about that too. But I think our main focus is amateur strongman in America, and try to be as worldwide as possible. I just think sometimes we're out of touch with some of the random shit, in other countries. So, um,
I think that's expected though. Like we
yeah.
know what goes on here, and
But no, I just thought it was funny. This week I got four separate messages that said I really like how you highlight the amateur aspect of strongman. So I just thought that was really cool and I appreciate those messages.
yeah,
Um well, let's talk about Bridge. Dante, you worked harder than anyone at Bridge.
I won't say that. I just did my role.
But well, you did your role and more, but I want to reiterate real quick how much I appreciate the competitors and the volunteers. The competitors really got me through this last week since Bridge. Just all the awesome messages, like still love your guys' shows. You guys did an amazing job. I know stuff wasn't as perfect as you wanted. That stuff really was great to hear, to be honest, because I was a little bit down Saturday after the contest, just because it ran so much longer than I had anticipated, and I really did. Sometimes you gotta get your teeth kicked in to to learn and get better, and I think that's
Hmm.
what Saturday is, and I think you guys will see that moving forward from me and the team, because it'll never happen again, and it's gonna be. I think we really learned from the mistakes, and at least I did, and I know Dante did, and I know some of my other top volunteer guys did, and I think we got some cool changes. I think we got some cool ideas, and we're just gonna keep getting better. So if you're gonna take a positive out of it, there's always a silver lining, right? And that's
Yep.
just that, learn from it, and we'll correct that stuff, and it'll never happen again.
The thing we like to say is it's the worst it's gonna get.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's almost impossible to highlight all the awesome achievements and stuff, but we had 845-pound deadlifts. We had, I believe, four guys. Um, we had a gentleman named Harold Carter who he won the lightweight class, the 175s. He
Mhm.
literally sandbagged his shoulder. He's on the last bag of the ladder. He fell out of the lane, literally 15, 20 feet away, slammed into our squat rack off camera. I can't find, it's not on camera. It's not
I
even
have
on
it.
our,
I have the
oh, you
footage.
do have it?
I believe so.
Oh, wow. That would be
I
awesome.
haven't edited any of the footage Julia got, but I'm pretty sure
Well, that would
that was
be,
one of the clips that I saw.
if we have that, I want to post it, because honest to God, in all the strongman comps I've attended, judged, as a volunteer, as a judge, as a competitor, as a spectator. I thought that was one of the craziest things ever. So he literally stands up, he's like 20 feet away from his lane in a squat rack, and he lapped it. And I said, if you can't touch anything, and inside one of our squat racks at the gym, he got the last rep of a sandbag to shoulder, basically out of the view of everyone. And it might not sound as cool as I'm explaining it, but like in the moment, it was like I was stunned. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in the sport. So,
Yep,
um,
I'm watching it right now. I do have
oh,
it.
are you really?
Yeah.
That's really cool that we have it. That's awesome.
I'll send it to you after this episode. We're done recording.
Right. But man, I don't know if Dante had I don't know if anything else stands out to you from the show. Honestly, just what always stands out to me is I posted that picture to Instagram, and some of you may have seen it, some may have not. But honestly, it sounds corny and cheesy, and it's said a lot in strongman. But the one thing that always does stick out to me is like the camaraderie and the like, just the attitude that at a strongman comp. I
Hmm.
just love it, and it fires me up every time. And if you didn't see it on my Instagram, I posted a picture. I can't remember if I posted it to my personal or to 580, but um it's like a guy deadlifting and everyone's behind him. These are some of his competitors, guys he's going against to win first place trophy, second place, third place, whatever they're fighting for, and all the guys are cheering for him like right behind him. And it's like a really cool, it's really cool, and I think it encapsulates a local strongman comp. So that's why I love doing it. I like growing the sport, and I like seeing that stuff. So I'm trying to think what else with Bridge. I mean, what went wrong? I can say what went wrong from the promoter aspect is I had a lot of volunteers no call no show, unfortunately. I think I'm gonna fix that moving forward with some things I'm gonna implement with our volunteer team, and it's not to knock it because I do understand it's a lot of work, and it's a huge commitment to be a volunteer at a strongman comp. You're giving up your whole Saturday. People on our team, Dante, you got to think about it, gave up their Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, late
Hmm.
into the night. So it's a huge commitment, but just some things I'm going to change with that, kind of dial back how many volunteers I have, but incentivize them more and have a more core group because sometimes like those fringe people that you're really counting on can just be kind of flaky. And that's not me blaming anyone. I know it might sound like that, but it's really not. It's me explaining what happened.
Hmm.
Um, Another thing was with resetting the yoke and frame that we thought was gonna work. It on game day it didn't work the way I had practiced and the way I intended. But we got through it, made it work. That was a big thing. Another one is not allowing unlimited attempts on max sandbag toss. I didn't anticipate people that could throw a 60-pound bag over attempting a 30-pound bag. Like I just didn't think that people would want to take 10 plus attempts. Because sandbag, for me at least, sandbag toss, and I think a lot of people are like this, pretty much know what you're good for within a 5 to 10 pound bag, right? So I
Hmm.
kind of thought that people would take three, maybe that fourth, maybe even that fifth attempt PR for a PR, but I didn't anticipate 231s, 265 supers, people like that taking a 30-pound bag over 15 feet. So that just slowed down the process a lot. Probably Nick did a great job with that event with what they had, and definitely set them up for failure there. But that's just a couple things. I still am so proud of some things of like how we put on a show with like from the presentation standpoint, like Dante did an amazing job setting up the live stream. Sean Fuller, dude, he sat in a chair for like 10 hours announcing that like a champ
Yep.
while it was still going.
He did
Uh,
great. He loved it
yeah,
too.
he did.
I love working with Sean. He's a great dude to
Dude,
work with.
Sean is amazing and he loves the sport and he did such a fantastic job. I think he's one of the best commentators I've ever heard on a live stream. I went back and listened to some of it and he does such a fantastic job.
Yeah.
So,
So if you're looking for
um,
a commentator, reach out. He might be
yeah,
interested.
seriously, seriously. Um, and like with the banners, the floor labels, um, the equipment, making sure we have the exact right equipment and everything like that. I think I'm really proud of that. And I'm mostly proud of my volunteer team, the ones that were there that my core group of guys and girls, they just did such an amazing job. So, um, yeah, that's really all I have to say about Bridge. I just, man, great job to everyone that competed. Shout out to all you guys and thank you for having such a great attitude. Anything else you want to add with Bridge, Dante?
No, just be on the lookout for our next show. It's gonna be,
Yeah, I wore mine.
we're gonna keep it
Ironically,
up and oh yeah, Pool Express.
yeah, Polar Express 3. Looking to lock down. I have the date, but I'm not gonna say it yet because it's not 100% locked down. And we're gonna finalize the events. We're not gonna rush in those events. We're gonna take another couple weeks, make sure they're perfect, make sure we can do them exact and fast, and be done with the show in under 5 hours. That's a promise. So, just not going to rush out events, not going to rush it out. I will say it's going to be limited to 50 people. So we usually sell out 50 to 60 spots. Both years we've sold that out in a week or so, right? So
usually.
yeah, so be on the I would say
I
before
think the first Polar Express is like what, 24 hours?
yeah, yeah. So that would be real. I know the first one we sold out 40 spots in 24 hours, and then I think we ended up adding some more. Um, so I'm gonna just put it at 50, and then obviously there'll be a wait list and stuff like that. But definitely be on the lookout. We'll probably next week we'll announce when it's gonna go live so we can kind of hype it up and have people sign up. So yeah, it's gonna be at a different venue than 580 this time too. So there's a little
Dun
spoiler.
dun dun.
Um, but yeah, that's cool. Just be on the lookout, like Dante said, for Polar Express 3. Another flavor horsepower coming too. Just a little side note. That's almost ready. Wish it would have been ready for Bridge this week, but that's all right. Um, Dante, we got Blue Tip Strongest coming up too. Local show around us. Let's talk USS Nationals first, actually. Then we'll talk about our own personal.
Yeah, we still got a week before we talk about blue tips, so
Yeah, I mean it's only crazy, but it's only 2 weeks away.
yeah.
Um,
Doesn't feel like it at all though.
I know. It's life has just been, I think for both of us, been so busy recently. But we're going in full head of
Yep.
steam.
Show goes on.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited. But all right, so USS Nationals 2024 has come to a wrap. It was in Denver, Colorado this year. Um, the show seemed I haven't talked to anyone really that was there besides client, and seemed like it ran really well. Speed wise, it ran amazing. Um, The live stream was, I'll be honest, was really hard to follow. And I heard them say some stuff about a fire marshal or something like that on the live stream, and I didn't really understand it, but I'm sure it happened. I would
Maybe
be
like fire hazard if there's a fire, like they trip on wires or something. I don't know.
yeah, could be it. Um, One element I really did like about the live stream throughout the day, they brought in sponsors. Like so, like they brought in the guy from Weigh It Out, who I'm a huge fan of. They brought in Tommy Lavelle because Auto Objects was a sponsor. They brought in all the booths that were there and all the representatives who were sponsoring the show, and just kind of let them plug, like as athletes were lifting, kind of let them plug their company. I thought that was really, really cool. Um, but like I said, the live stream was almost impossible to follow. Um, I understand it's a what 600 people, 650 lifters, like we were talking like almost an impossible task, right? Um, but my recommendation, and this is just from the peanut gallery, and Dante and I talked about today, and it kind of just clicked. This is what I think would really make it run good. So if you got like three or four local, more like I hate to say small level, but maybe up and coming live stream companies like Dante himself with DPP. I mean, he's done big shows already. He did the Pro Strongman League 105 finals. But this is what USAPL does for their powerlifting, their big powerlifting shows, is they set up 3 to 4 live streams. So for USS National, 12 lanes, set up 3 channels, have DPP Productions lanes 1 through 4. Valor and Venom, lanes 5 through 8. And then, last company 9 through 12. And then that way you can actually have a focused hey, I know Dante's lifting on platform 7. I'm going to tune into that one because he's the only person I'm really looking for.
Right.
So I think that's just my only constructive criticism, really. It looked awesome. It looked like the promoters did such a good job. I can't even imagine how much work that is. I really can't imagine. I saw they brought out Brian Shaw, which was probably pretty cool for spectators. Brian Shaw, obviously from being from that area. So that was really cool. It was like I looked into the arena and it's an old historic arena. Um, and it looked cool. Obviously, you can get really messy when you have that many competitors. So it seemed like they did such an amazing job. So
They probably learn every year too how to make it better even. I get it like a new person runs it, but I'm sure they
yeah,
pass
yeah.
along the knowledge too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running it next year, the person that's running it next year is probably there, but they'd be dumb not to take notes, and learn and learn
Right.
and learn. So I'm sure it evolves every single year. It's hard for me to imagine as USS Nationals continues to grow that it doesn't go to 2 days. Um, and the thing I love, absolutely love about USS Nationals versus like Strongman Corp Nationals is that it's all in one place. I don't like Masters Nationals being here, Teen Nationals being here, you know, all these different locations for Nationals. I love that they have it one weekend, one huge weekend. Everyone can compete, and it's just, the same events for everyone. I love that about USS Nationals. So I don't want it to separate in that aspect. I would think as it continues to grow that it'll have to go to 2 days, you know, women, teens on day one and then open on day two, just as you get up toward that, like if they start allowing, if it's at the current trend, 1,000 competitors next year, 800 competitors next year. Can you pull up the event page, Dante, for next year on
Yeah.
Iron Podium and see what they have it capped at?
2025.
2025. Yeah, it's already up. That's the one thing I don't like is them putting out the
599
event.
athletes.
How many?
599.
Okay. That's how many are allowed to sign up, or that's how many spots are remaining.
That's how many are allowed to sign up.
Okay.
575 spots remaining.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, um, I think the only weight change that they would probably make would be the circus dumbbell after seeing it today. I mean, maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they're like, we want 80% of the field to zero it. Um,
Dude, that
but
that was crazy seeing all those zeros.
I mean,
I get it's a national level comp, but
yeah, and I mean, the one rule in strongman that I don't like that is constantly, I don't know if you know the rule I'm gonna say, Dante, but it's the 30 30 30 rule, the 33% rule that's kind of been reiterated in strongman where they say you want 33% to get reps, high reps, you want 33% to get like really low reps, and you want 33% to zero. I think that's a very flawed ideology because if you have 33% of your class getting a ton of reps and then 33% zeroing, that means like the difference of athlete is too vast for a nationals level show. Does that make sense? Like
yeah.
the person that is in dead last shouldn't be there, no offense. But it's like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, the 308s, 308 men they didn't get a rep. The open women 181 didn't get a rep. The 165 women had 20 girls and only three got a rep.
A lot of people zero the stone too.
Yeah. And I think it's cool. Because I kind of sound like a hypocrite when I'm like, you shouldn't be there if you're zeroing it. But so maybe they tried to make it heavier, like to kind of push away people that they didn't think, maybe aren't ready for these weights yet. The open, I don't know if I said the 181 women all zeroed. Um, the 198 women, only two of 15 got a rep. And it's like, it just sucks because that sets the other competitors back so far when it's a weight like that. But
Agreed.
I don't
But
know. I mean,
it is what it is.
yeah,
They sign up for the
240,
show. They know,
yeah,
going into it. So
242 women, every single one zeroed. Super heavyweight women, every single one zeroed. 165 masters, only one person in the whole class got a rep. Just going down, and that's so. I guess that would be my only constructive criticism would be that might be one they would want back, but maybe they don't. That's easier for me to say from here, but it's pretty cool. I just love. I think I'm gonna try to do USS Nationals next year. It's really cool to see how many competitors. Like I'm looking at my class, and there was 41 guys. That's cool.
would you
The
do 198 or 189 or
181 probably.
181? That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, once I get my diet in check. Um, a kid I've actually competed against, and he's a supporter of horsepower. So I'm just looking through the list. Aaron Hahn won the 165 men's class. So congrats to
Sweet.
him. He's actually a big supporter of horsepower. So shout out to him. He won by actually a really big margin too. So congrats to all the national champions. Seriously, it's such a big feat and such an accomplishment, and you should be proud. CJ Allen won the super heavyweights. Just looking through everything. So I think Dante might do this next year too. I know we were talking today. I mean, who knows, but
Just
I would
gotta
like,
just gotta find a show to do and qualify. That's
yeah,
all.
yeah, I would have to qualify too because I'm qualified as a 198. Now I'd probably want to qualify as a 200, but I mean as a 181, but not 100% sure. We'll see. Like I just the 200 class had a lot less people than the 181, so I would that's kind of my class. I wouldn't have to really cut that much weight either for 181. So CJ Pierce been on the podcast before. He won the 220s um and did so pretty handedly. Won by 30 points
Wow.
to the next closest person. Now 30 points when you have that, see Dante, that would be it's cool for you. Well, you wouldn't be a 220, but that 220 class had 52 competitors. So
That's a lot of points, dude.
that's a lot of points. Open men 242 only had 22 guys. I'm surprised by that number, to be honest.
Hmm.
Because I believe the top two for that class get an invite to PSL.
See, I don't get that because it's not 231.
Yeah, I don't either. Tommy Sharp won the 275s. Congrats to him.
I met
Did
Tommy at
so
PSL. He's a nice guy.
did so very handedly as well.
He's really strong.
Yeah. So I mean, just I could talk all day. I will say I had a client I got to brag about real quick. Tom Taylor. I just met him at a show. I actually met him at Polar Express. That was his first comp, and then he did Maryland's Strongest, and then um his third ever show was Nationals, and he hired me as a coach. And Tom lives out in the woods and has very minimal equipment to train with. He has like a Bowflex, homemade equipment, and a barbell with some weights and a dumbbell. And he freaking did awesome. PR'd basically everything. And your third ever show being Nationals, that's pretty cool. And starting strongman when you're over 50 years old, I think is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Um, so shout out to him. Uh, just seeing a look if there was anyone else that to highlight, but not really. I thought the events were really cool this year too. But yeah, that's it, man. That's it with USS Nationals. Only other thing I got every once in a while in Strongman, something pops up and I get a ton of DMs about it. Everyone, you need to talk about this, you need to talk about that. And honestly, I hate to be like sound like I'm big timing, but I got a ton of DMs. And when I say a ton, over 10.
Probably 10 of them are for me.
I mean, I'm serious, 10. No, I don't want to say random people that I know listen, but strongman competitors that aren't involved with the show saying you should talk about this. So, Swamp Monsters went, I guess, viral for in our little niche community. um this week where there was a lot of people reposting saying, "Oh, this show's too heavy. It literally would be the heaviest show of all time." Um, so let me just pull up. Dante, do you have the weight matrix pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay, so read off the yoke weights for the women, not the Trump ones, the ones that were originally posted.
We'll go into the original one.
So basically, this show got posted. It's in Gainesville, Florida. I don't know how to say his last name, but his name's Chandler. He's a fellow strongman competitor as well. So he wanted to host a show, and he is hosting a show, and he made it pretty heavy. So if you
Is
wanna
this on
read off,
Iron Podium at all?
no,
Not yet.
it's not on Iron Podium.
Okay. So women's yoke weights. 132 is 650 pounds. 165 is 700 pounds.
So I mean, even right there, 165 women, 132 women, 650-pound yoke is the yoke. That's more than the yoke I used at lightweight nationals when I had a yoke.
Now, I don't know how far they have to walk or
It's
anything.
20 or 30 feet. He posted it. So I mean that does change things a little bit.
It's still, dude, the whole show's heavy though. Like, so your max log clean and press, super yoke, max mammoth or deadlift, Trump sandbag to shoulder medley, and max stone load. So like, you're cooking yourself the entire show.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess it's his intention to be that heavy.
And that's fine. If someone wants to do it, they can all do it. But
Yeah, so I've done a complete 180 on it. I'll be honest. When I first saw it, I still do think it's dumb. I think the weight matrix is horrible. But I'm like, if someone why do you care? Like, I mean, obviously people have the right to be critical. It's social media, everyone, talking about a keyboard and everything like that. But if my thoughts are on it are if you want to sign up, you can sign up. At in strongman the competitors are your funding. Your competitors are your voice. Your competitors are your support. So people are either going to show up or they're not. And that's going to say a lot about the weight matrix, right? I mean,
hmm
if 40 people show up and do the show, I mean, he wins. He was right. He had a good day. Hopefully, no one gets hurt. And that's it. Is the weight matrix bad? Of course it's bad. It doesn't make any sense.
well,
I think the
there's
super heavyweights yoke was 1,500 pounds.
they do have a Trump weight though,
They
a
yeah, so he
thousand two hundred pounds,
yeah, so I mean he came out and put
and
Trump
and
weights
and, it,
on
and
and
it's not a pro show either. It's for amateurs.
yeah. And I mean it's for everyone, but I mean he came out, he put the Trump weights out. That's fine. Yeah, so the heavyweights so super heavyweights are 1,500 pound yoke. What's the 200 pound guys?
1,000 pounds.
1,000 pound yoke. I mean that's very, very heavy. I mean, it's
I mean, it raises an eyebrow when Andrew Clayton and Lucas Hatton are commenting on this show.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, Chandler had to have known when he posted it he was gonna get. I'm sure he didn't expect that many people to, because I really did see it on like every story, like every story getting posted. Like this is crazy, this is crazy. I would be curious because it's not on our podium, so I don't think the um current athlete list is public. I'd be curious to see how many people are signed up, if any. But man, he's running a show. He's trying to do something different. Props to him. I mean, people, like I said, people are either going to come or they're not. But the weights are insane, especially the yoke. What was the? There was a max log, right?
Yeah, max log, clean and press, yoke, max mammoth bar deadlift, Trump sandbag to shoulder medley, and max stone load.
Yeah,
So like
quite
your
possibly.
sandbag to shoulder would be 275, 305, 355, or 410.
Yeah.
So your
So
last option is 355 or 410 sandbag to shoulder.
wait. So is it a ladder or just a max?
I think it's medley. So it's like maybe you do the medley or you just go for the heavy one.
Okay.
So you have an
Yeah. What?
option to go 410 or 275, 305, 355.
Uh, yeah. I mean, that's heavy. It's
It
very.
doesn't matter.
I mean
I feel like
that
it doesn't matter which route you go at that point. You're fighting for something.
I mean, you could get one. A lot of good lightweights can get an easy rep with 275. That's not a challenge. You wouldn't zero that, but yeah, I mean, it's quite possibly those five events are the most taxing five events you can really put together. A yoke, a max log, a max deadlift, a max stone, and then sandbag to shoulder. Sandbag to shoulder is your only time you'll don't kill yourself. But any of like those four events would be the heavy event at another show. Not even, I don't mean literally the weights. I mean, that would be like the most taxing event at another show. So we put four of all four together. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's like great, but I've kind of done a 180 where I'm like, I'm not supporting him, but I'm just like, he can do whatever he wants. And you know,
hmm
participation will dictate what happens at that show.
It's just fun. It's fun to see these kind of things pop up though, because
Yeah.
you just like to see how they play out.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so there you go, everyone. I talked about it. You all slid in my DMs. We came here and we talked about it, Dante, right?
Yes, sir.
So
And
yeah,
then we have blue tips,
yeah.
June
So you and I
22nd.
are competing at Blue Tip Strongest. What's cool is I've always wanted to do a show that's in front of a crowd, like a random crowd that doesn't know about strongman really, like where people are just walking through a festival or a fair or whatever. So that's what we're getting the opportunity to do at this show. It'll be at the Blue Tip Festival in Wadsworth, Ohio. Man, I'm excited.
I heard the Blue Tip Festival is pretty big too.
Yeah, yeah. I was
So
looking it up online. They have a whole committee for it, everything like that. It's like the whole town kind of shuts down for that weekend, it seems like. So
I'm gonna be very curious if people are actually gonna like watch us because I know I've been to a couple county fairs and like I like to see like the weird shit that goes on, like monster trucks and funnel cakes and knife throwing stuff. So like maybe if people see strongman, we'll get a good crowd.
yeah, right. That's kind of like it's kind of your opportunity to win over like just a random crowd and make them think like, oh, just go to work on Monday. I saw these guys lifting and like they were lifting stones and they were deadlifting with a tire and they were running holding 600 pounds. Like that's kind of your opportunity. So it'll be really fun. I hope people actually, I think people actually, I hope people will actually watch. I
Yeah,
guess is what I was trying
and
to
then
say.
I can't wait to just get some funnel cake after with the boys.
Yeah, I know. It'll be my son's first time seeing me in person too, so definitely some extra motivation.
Yeah,
I'm doing it as a 200 again. Dante's doing it as a super heavyweight, so we just compete up now. And
I just
yeah.
I just like that idea. Just it's just forces you to get better. Granted, I'm
Right.
not technically a super heavyweight. I mean, kind of right now I am, but
Yeah,
normally I am not.
right. No, right. So yeah, it's like off season, kind of just keeping that. I think one thing I would recommend to people is to compete a little bit more. It's one thing I kind of regret when I first started, whereas like only do one, maybe two a year. I think like you don't cut weight. Do a show where there's events that you don't really get to do often, or maybe you're bad at, and then just do them. Just
See,
show up, do them.
yeah, I kind of agreed with that at the first. We always talked about stuff like that, but that was when we really were cutting weight and stuff. So like in that
Yeah,
aspect, like we don't want to cut weight more than like twice a year, if
right,
that, three
right,
times. But competing up, you can turn it into like a strongman Saturday,
right. That's what
especially
we're doing.
especially if the show isn't like insanely heavy.
Right. If it's not swamp monsters. So I mean, yeah, we're gonna train Thursday like we normally do, and then we're gonna show up Saturday and
Definitely
compete.
gonna be modified. We're not gonna kill ourselves or anything, but
Yeah, right. But we're gonna, basically not miss any training and show up and do it and get better, make friends, have fun, win. So
yeah, potentially get
that's
my
it. Yeah.
potentially
I
get my
think
super heavyweight nationals invite, but we'll see.
better. How many guys are in your class?
I believe there is one, two, five.
Okay, so you just
You
got.
guys have one, two,
I
three,
have
five.
five.
Yeah,
So
cool.
yeah, the only other thing down the pipeline that you'll see more top level amateurs preparing for is OSG online qualifiers. That's 3 weeks away. I
They
don't know.
release anything about that yet?
On the site, it says that it starts on July 1st. So I don't know. When would you assume that the events would get released? July 1st or a week before? I think he usually does it a couple days before.
I'd at least say the week leading up.
Yeah, so probably about probably the week after Blue Tips. But
Cool. That'll be something to look forward to.
yeah, so you guys will start seeing that. But hey, man, thank you everyone for everything. We appreciate the support, and we will see you all next week for episode 183.
Peace.